The photo showed me doing something I had never done, and I knew that immediately because it was a moment I would have remembered. I was sitting at a small wooden table in a cafe I had never visited, smiling at someone who wasn't in my life, holding a cup I never drink, wearing a jacket I don't own. The lighting was warm late afternoon, and the picture felt peaceful in a way my life hadn't felt in a long time. The message under the photo was simple. This was almost yours. I stared at it longer than I wanted to admit. There was no number, no profile, no way to reply, just the image and the sentence. I checked my gallery. It wasn't there. I checked my cloud backup. Nothing. It existed only in that message. I tried to ignore it, but the image stayed with me all day. Not because it was strange, but because it felt familiar in a way I couldn't explain, like a memory from a dream you don't remember having. That night I dreamed about the cafe, not clearly, just fragments, light through a window, the sound of cups touching saucers, a voice I didn't recognize, but somehow trusted. When I woke up, my phone was on my nightstand, face up. Another message, a video this time. I pressed play before I could stop myself. It showed me walking through a park, talking to someone beside me. The audio was missing, but I could see my face, the way I moved, the way I nodded, the way I smiled at something that wasn't funny but meaningful. The timestamp that said the video was recorded tomorrow. I felt cold, not afraid, disoriented, as if reality had quietly shifted without telling me. Another message followed. We're testing alternatives now. That was when I understood the images weren't mistakes. They were versions, possibilities, leaves that could exist but didn't, or hadn't, yet. I tried to reply. There was still no way to. So I did the only thing I could think of. I tried to change something small. The next morning, instead of taking my usual route to work, I took a different street. Instead of coffee, I ordered tea. Instead of sitting at my desk, I worked from a cafe near the office. I wanted to see if the future noticed. That evening, another photo arrived. It showed me in that cafe, exactly where I had been. This one is stable, the message said. That was the moment the feeling changed from strange to threatening. Not because something bad was happening, but because something was paying attention. I stopped receiving images for 2 days, long enough to almost forget, long enough to feel normal again. Then a new video arrived. This one was darker. It showed me arguing with Emily. My voice was raised. Her face was tense. I couldn't hear what we were saying, but I could see the outcome. Her walking away, me standing alone. The message under it said, "This path is still active." I felt a tightness in my chest I hadn't felt in a long time. I hadn't argued with Emily, not yet. I called her immediately. She answered. Everything was fine. Her voice was normal, warm, real, but now I couldn't unsee what I had seen. I became careful with my words, with my tone, with my choices, as if I were trying to avoid stepping into a version of myself I didn't want to become. And that was when the messages changed again. Now they weren't showing me futures, they were reacting to me. A photo of me hesitating before speaking, a video of me choosing silence, a screenshot of a text I almost sent but didn't. "You're learning," the message said. I realized then that this wasn't observation anymore. It was training, not shaping my life directly, but shaping my awareness of it, making me think about every choice, every branch, every version of myself that could exist. And once you see the branches, you can't stop seeing them. I began to feel detached from my own actions, as if I were watching myself from just a step away, always slightly delayed, always slightly cautious. That's when the next message arrived. A photo of an empty room, a hospital room, white walls, a single bed, a window with rain on it. The message under it said, "This happens when you stop choosing." I didn't understand it at first. Then I did. It wasn't about which choice was good or bad. It was about choosing at all. Indecision was its own path, a quiet one, a hollow one where nothing grows. I stopped looking at the messages after that, not because I was brave, but because I was tired. Tired of watching my life instead of living it. I turned off notifications. I stopped checking. I tried to return to instinct, to habit, to unexamined decisions. For a while it worked. The world felt solid again. Then one morning I woke up and my phone was gone. Not lost, not stolen, just not there. And in its place on the nightstand was a photograph, a printed one, of me, standing in my apartment, holding a phone, looking at something on the screen. The angle was wrong. Too close, too intimate, as if taken by someone standing where I was now standing. The message written on the back in simple handwriting: "You don't need the device anymore." That was the moment I understood. The system didn't need to show me futures now. I had internalized it. The hesitation, the awareness, the constant sense of branching paths. It had become part of how I think, how I choose, how I exist. I don't know if that makes me safer or more controlled. I only know that sometimes when I'm about to do something without thinking, I feel a strange relief, as if for a brief moment I've stepped outside the frame again and no one is watching.